Hi, hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program, your opportunity to be a voice. A lot of comments on this, though. Seeking Louisiana politician pass this program. These are reforms that need to be made, but this is certainly not one that's going to produce any results that are truly worthy. Only result will be produce a politician talking about saving money in the prison system. Well, that's why they did it. Well, that's not why Bill Edwards did it. He wouldn't save money. Bill Edwards did it because the old people had voted for him. And, it's a sin and a shame. It really is. I mean, it's just pitiful. Let's see. By the way, I got the votes, too. By the way, somebody asked, why is President Trump meeting with Governor Bill Edwards over prison reform? I don't know. But if Bill Edwards would be, not Bill Edwards, if the president will meet with John Kennedy and, of course, his friend Jeff Landry, I'm sure they're going to meet with them, too. And they're not going to just let people out. Brandon, I'll tell you what it was. It was the Attorney General of Oklahoma. You can pull him up. I think he's a black gentleman. He's the one came on the program that talked about how when you do prison reform, you don't let habitual offenders go. They are not easily.
Mike Hunter?
That might have been him. I just know. I thought it was Oklahoma. I'm going to find out, though, for you. I promise you. I'm going to find
Scott
out.
Pruitt.
I don't remember the name. I really don't remember the guy's name. But I will do a little research with a phone call and can find out that he talked about criminal justice reform. And it was very good, very remarkable. Glad we're doing something, but you can't do the wrong thing to say you did something. I remember former Representative Kay Katz. Kay Katz, you say, well, you got to do something. You got to do something. Well, no, you don't. You don't just do something. You don't just do something to do something. You do something because it gets results. So you tell elected officials that, well, we just got to do something. But doing the wrong thing could make it worse. Yeah? You do something. Do something. Do something for what? Do the right thing, and then that's then that means that will make a difference. No doubt about it. All right. We have, Brandon, I hope you still have the Dukakis ad.
Oh, yeah, still.
Okay. Some of you people weren't even around then. Some of you people didn't even vote then. Brandon, were you even born in?
Yes, I was 3 years old.
Okay, 3 years. Brandon, you did not watch this commercial. I'm sure if you did, you didn't remember it. But Dukakis, this was a gigantic issue. And this was a commercial ad either played for Bob Bush or a third party against Dukakis, him being weak on crime. Listen to this ad.
Bush and Dukakis on crime. Bush supports the death penalty for first-degree murderers. Dukakis not only opposes the death penalty, he allowed first-degree murderers to have weekend passes from prison. One was Willie Horton, who murdered a boy in a robbery, stabbing him 19 times. Despite a life sentence, Horton received 10 weekend passes from prison. Horton fled, kidnapped a young couple, stabbing the man and repeatedly raping his girlfriend. Weekend prison passes. Dukakis on crime.
All right. Now, Brandon, besides the silly hat, he got into a tank, and he put on an army hat coming around the corner. And I'm being honest with you. People that remember that, he looked like the dumbest bozo that ever tried to run for office. He looked like a doofus. And he was a doofus, but he looked like a doofus. And, we love when they played that ad because it was hilarious. But let me go back to the Willie Horton ad. Willie Horton ad was turned from the press and the left back then as being racial. He's being a racist. He's showing a black man. And let me get this straight. The man was in there for life because they don't have a death penalty. He stabbed and killed a kid 19 times. 19 times. He gets 10 weekend passes that he can go and have fun. And in one of them, he kills two people and rapes one. And the press and the left made this about race. The guy could not have been more hideous. He could not have been more evil. He could not have been more rotten to the core. I don't care what color he was. And they wanted to, they're using racism. That's what the left does because of their ignorance and their political ignorance. That's what they're branding. That was a bad, you got to admit that's a bad commercial.
Oh, yes.
I mean, let me back up. It was not a bad commercial, good commercial, effective. But what happened was really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So now you fast forward to next year. And we know of 2 deaths already. And you put out there that Bill Edwards, this is his bill. He got it pushed. I got the voting record. I just hadn't deciphered it yet, but I may by tomorrow, between today and tomorrow. So, but he was the main man, and he's the one said we're now doing the right thing when it comes to these prisoners. He said it. I mean, what else do you want to do, folks? For too long, Louisiana has had the title as the state with the highest incarceration rate. Said Democrat Governor Bill Edwards today, that's no longer who we are. Now, Brandon, think about what Bill Edwards hadn't fixed a thing. He's not going to fix anything. Him and Jay Darden, the co-governorship is a flat-out dang failure. So, what did he do? We got, Brandon, just think about the sales taxes. We're now no longer number 1. We're number 2 by 0.01. Am I saying that right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now they came out with our sales tax. We don't have the biggest prison incarceration anymore, but I don't know. As we rearrest them, we might go back to number 1. He's doing this for what reason? So he can say, just like they're going to say, well, unemployment rate is down lowest it has been 10 years. Brandon's the 3rd highest in the country.
He's building a list.
He's building a list. I told you they would do that.
But if it comes at the expense of the people in the state of Louisiana, how good is that list?
But don't you think a commercial showing this is inevitable? Mm-hmm. Don't you think people are going to be reminded? And we don't know how many more deaths will take place between now and next election. He's got a year and a half to hope those numbers don't get up to 50, 60, 70%. Then, because if it's saving money, Brandon, I'm trying to get this in my thick head, 33% in 3 areas. If it's saving money and you rearresting them, how much money are you really saving? I mean, how much money are you really saving? And by the way, this is a question. What's more important, saving money or protecting people from getting killed and raped and robbed from thugs? You tell me, folks. What's more important? Well, to them, keeping the number down and saving money, because when you read the bills and read all the stuff, it talks about saving the money. So Bill Edwards can't hide from this, folks. He cannot hide from the Willie Horton ad. Because the Willie Horton ad has to come. Because it would be truthful just like it was back then. And you don't worry about them hollering racist and all. Because when they do that, I didn't look at the guy what color he was. I look at what the guy did. And what he did was evil. So, do we have Willie Horton ads coming? I think we do. And I think if we don't, they're making a mistake. One of the many ads you can run. And they're going to keep taking credit for things. Go ahead and let them take credit for all this. And by the way, there were some House and Senate members in the Republican Party who supported this. Somebody's looking for votes to take down candidates. All you got to do is go pull them. And it's there. And you will see what I mean. All right. Let's go to phone lines. Go to Ralph and Dorleen. Ralph, how you doing?
I am doing absolutely wonderful, man.
That's good.
I want to talk about Governor John Tinkerbell Edwards spreading his magic fairy dust, making the criminal system a lot better. You know, the one thing that these so-called politicians, these so-called lawyers don't tell you is that when they charge these guys, they hire a lawyer, come in there, and they get plea deals. So that they plead to something, they don't go to court, per se, other than just for a few minutes. The DA accepts it. He may have been charged with 8, 10, 12, 20 crimes, and he gets charged with 1 or 2, maybe not even a felony, which is the worst one. He gets off. So it doesn't show up that, I'm going to use an absurd example. He shoots somebody and tries to commit murder. The guy lives, so they write it up instead of attempted murder as accidental discharge of a weapon in the city. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're dealing with. They're letting people out. You really don't know what crimes they committed. You just know which ones they were not even charged with, convicted of. And it's a plea deal. And you got a smart lawyer going up against crooked DAs and making the deal so the DA gets a win, but the guy gets a win, the criminal gets a win because it gets off with very little charges. And that about covers it.
Yeah, I know. I don't mess with law enforcement too much and stuff that they do because a lot of times we don't understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this isn't the police officer. This isn't the judge. These are the DAs and the crooked lawyers that make the deal.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely deal makers. No doubt about it. Well, I know this. In one of the bills that they passed, they got several. You had a lot of Republicans vote for it. A bunch of Republicans vote for it. And I think that Edwards will, some conservatives. Edwards will use that to help himself, but this is an Edwards bill. This is an Edwards law. He's the one signed it in. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, we got to go. Thanks for the call. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, your opportunity to be a voice. Of course, criminal justice reform has come. In 3 parishes, 33% of the people have been rearrested. 25% all over the state have been rearrested. 2 of them have committed murder in the state of Louisiana. Is a Willie Horton ad right around the corner? I think it should be. By the way, though, the governor had some help in the Senate. Now, I don't see. Let me just make it quick. Greg Tarver, a Democrat, voted against it. John Milkovich, who has a lot of bad votes, voted against it. There were only 2 Democrats that voted against this, quote, reform bill. There were 14 Republicans that voted for it. This is the one where John Bel Edwards bragged about it. We got people being rearrested, 2 murders. Just saying. Republicans that voted for it in the Senate. I won't get to the House today, but I will get to it tomorrow. John Alario, of course. Elaine Appel. Chaubert. Clater. Paige Cortez. I'm not surprised about it. He votes. That guy's voting records from hell. Somebody with money could run against him. He's got the big chamber and all them guys behind him. This guy never votes right, hardly ever. Donahue. Ron Gaddy voting another. That a boy, Ron. Ron, if it wouldn't be for abortion or marriage or something, Ron wouldn't have a good vote at all. Ron Gaddy. Sharon Hewitt. Shock there.
Sharon Hewitt voted for it?
Ronnie Casino Johns, of course. By the way, one Democrat that voted for it was a guy named Lunatic, Jay Lunatic. Some people call him Luno. Danny Martini. Fred Mills, another bad vote. Fred keeps knocking out them bad votes, but he knows nobody can beat him. Beth Measel. Blade Morris. Oh, Blade got a voting record from hell. People think, God have mercy. And that was all. Voting against it in the Republicans.
No, they have a few more people that voted for it if you scroll down.
No, I went all the way down. I went all the way down to, no, I didn't, I was just filling out Republicans.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I mean, Francis Thompson, my Lord, he votes for everything. Gee whiz. Francis probably got prisoners working at the lake, me and you, paid for him to make money with. And you got to know Francis. I was just talking about Republicans. Okay, voted against it, Republican, Mac White. Clutch Walsworth didn't come through in the clutch that time. John Smith. Jonathan Perry. Peacock.
And to be clear, you're talking about the ones that voted against
it. Well, I'm going to get to there's one that didn't vote. And I got a trivia question, see if somebody can answer. Oh, man. Jonathan Perry voted against it. Peacock. Let's see. Eddie Lambert. Big Lake Fannin got a good vote. Wow. Big Lake had a good vote like 15 years. Erdy. All right. 38 senators. One person stood up and walked out and didn't vote. Trivia question. In the Senate, who do you think the senator was that stood up and walked out on the vote? Who do you think the senator was that stood out and walked out on the vote? I'm just, does anybody want to take a shot at that?
By the way, I feel like you're giving a big hint when you say stood up and
I'm just saying somebody stood up, walked out, and they didn't vote. I just didn't know if anybody in our audience could answer that question. I mean, I know who it is. If you would have told me, Moon, that one person in the Senate stood up and walked out on the vote, I could tell you that name quick. I just wanted to know if anybody else knew who might have done that. Who stood up, walked out? Just kind of curious. Anybody knows? 844-766-6607. Hickson. Oh, God, that's an easy one. That's the easiest trivia question I ever asked in my life. Brandon spalled it by saying stood up. Oh, God. By the way, did you see in Hollywood, 2 West Hollywood city council members want President Trump's star off of Hollywood's Walk of Fame due to his disturbing treatment of women and other actions that do not meet the shared values of the city of Hollywood, West Hollywood, the region, and the state and country. You know how many people they would have to take off? You know how many people they would have to take off of that abuse women? No, make them get on that. They got to say it on that. You know how many people they'd have to take the whole star thing off of men? No doubt about it. Who is this?
I don't know, but he said he's got the answer.
Yeah, well, who's the answer?
The great Senator Gerald Long,
the stand-up guy stood up, walked out, didn't vote.
I live in northern Natchez Parish. I know the man well.
Well, once again, he took a stand for justice. He stood up and walked out.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, nothing ever changes in this stuff, I promise you. It's all the same. Once they go one way, that's the way they go. All right, quick break, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. I'll be at the Kiwanis Club speaking at the Petroleum Club. If you're a member, hope you get to come. We'll see you then. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us as we rock and roll. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. It's your opportunity to be a voice. No doubt about it, folks. So, anyway, excuse me, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. Let's go to the phone lines. We'll go to Darren at Fort Polk area. Darren, how you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Yourself?
I'm doing fine. Good to hear from you.
I just got a comment, and, I got a comment to make, then a comment after that. I love how the hypocrisy of the left knows no bounds. Several weeks ago, they were all up in arms stating how President Trump was going to start World War III because of his tough rhetoric with Kim Jong-un before their meeting. And now they can't do anything but try to beat him up because he was too soft with Putin before their meeting.
Good point.
It astonishes me how they can jump back and forth.
Well,
now,
no, that shouldn't really astonish you at all. The goal is to beat Trump. Anything good, we're not talking about. Anything bad, we make sure we're talking about it a lot. If unemployment jumped 0.2% and we lose some jobs, they're going to start talking about it then. This is what they do. They hate him. They hate him with a passion, and they're never going to stop.
But that's the sign of a good leader, because in the military, you don't make your soldiers adapt to you. You adapt to your soldiers, because one leadership style is not going to get the most work out of every single person. You got to find that leadership style that's going to get the most work out of that person, and that person. And the leader needs to change, and that's exactly what he's doing, and he's doing an outstanding job at it.
I think that the people that support Trump are still hanging in there. The midterm elections mean a lot. I'm going to wait and see what happens with those. It's hard for me to believe that people would go, well, we're going to vote for Trump, but let me send the liberal, leftist, socialist Democrats there. And these people have no interest. I can show you what the Democrats would like to do to everybody. Go look at the inner cities. Go see what you got there. Exactly. They would want the whole country like that. You vote for them. They stay in power. They run. They tell you what to do. They tell you what to think because they give you a check. That's what the inner cities is what the goal of the Democrat Party is to make everybody like the inner cities, dependent.
That makes them that elite permanent ruling class.
Absolutely. And all we are is peasants, and that's how they want it. If they tell me what's going on in the cities is not what they want, then why are they allowing the inner cities to do what they did? Chicago, 72 shootings. 72 shootings last weekend. That's Obama's home city, Chicago, Illinois. That's Obama's main city. They got more gun control, more regulations, more taxes. They're running that thing into the ground. That's what would happen if Obama could have stayed president for a long time. Eventually, that's what we would become.
Well, I'm from Illinois.
Are you really?
Southern Illinois.
Well, yeah, you could tell me then.
Chicago was the bane of the state. 80% of the population lives in Chicago, but 80% of the state's income, guess where it comes from? Everywhere else outside of Chicago.
The other 20%, huh?
Exactly. But all the farmers, the coal miners.
But can you imagine 72 shootings in one weekend? And so if you ask a Democrat, I notice LeBron James is going after Trump. Trump's tweeted some things. I wish he wouldn't mess with the NBA, leave all that alone. But anyway, he does it. LeBron and them are now going to get political. He's going to hurt the NBA when he does that, by the way, because LeBron doesn't understand. LeBron James just opened a school, Brandon, for underprivileged kids that are in a bad situation. They were in that bad situation under Barack Obama. They were in a bad situation when the Democrats had the House and the Senate. They were in a bad situation forever, for 40 years, because of what Democrats have done to blacks in the inner cities. Democrats have done that. And here's LeBron James going to get involved in this, and LeBron James doesn't see the forest for the trees. And the problem is he's talking about things he doesn't even understand. Barack Obama didn't get anybody out of these inner cities. They want people like that. They want us all like that. They want us all living like that. And if you don't believe them, then let them say the inner cities are great. Let them deny the inner cities are bad. But what they do, they blame Christians and white men and white people. No, look at the Democrats, black and white, what they've done to the black voter. It's unbelievable what they've done to a lot of black voters. And the inner cities say it all.
The biggest lie that they sold to Democrats, especially the minority Democrats, was when they passed that little myth off about the Dixiecrats. How the party switched.
Well, the party, if LeBron James would be honest, and I've turned it on ESPN this morning, I had to turn it off because they're talking about LeBron has a right. Yeah, he can say anything he wants to. Then they start dogging Michael Jordan because he didn't get into all that. But the bottom line is they can do all the social justice they want to do. The Democrat Party, led by every one of them at the top, the representatives, the Jesse Jacksons, the Al Sharptons, they want it just like it is. That's why it stays like that.
Exactly.
So anyway, all right, brother.
All right, sir.
Appreciate the call, sir.
Have a wonderful day, sir.
Hey, I'm glad you got out of Chicago. He's laughing, but he's saying, thank God I did. Thank you, bro. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Lafayette. We'll go to Pat. Pat, how you doing?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing good, Miss Pat.
Hi. Well, I wanted just to comment about what you had said. They need to look at their own first, because as everybody knows from the media, they have some that are worse than what anybody can imagine. Mm-hmm. So they need to look at their own first before they start taking off the President of the United States star. You know, they're just ticks. That's all.
Well, they are, but you know what's sad is, you know, I mentioned this LeBron thing, and I don't know if you follow basketball. LeBron James is one heck of a basketball player, and he looks like he looks to be a good guy, okay? And I don't doubt that. But he's getting involved in politics. He got involved with Hillary Clinton. I saw when Maxine Waters was at a school the other day and said this is one of the worst school districts ever, and she went all over Trump. And I'm sitting here going, Barack Obama was president for 8 years. Yeah. 8 years, and that school system is horrible, and Trump's been there a year and a half, and it's his fault. LeBron James is the same way. Well, social injustice, we had Obama for 8 years. In 8 years, they didn't fix a thing.
Well, I have news for all of them. I am a retired teacher.
Yes, ma'am.
Retired public school teacher, and I have news for all of them. The school system has had its fails for years. It is not Donald Trump who caused it. This has been a long ongoing.
But when I saw Maxine Waters blaming Trump for a school district in California that she represents, and I thought, you see, no truth. A woman who lives in $1 million mansion, okay, using these people to stay in power. Unbelievable. And look, there's a story on her. They won't ever pursue it, about how her daughter got $800,000 for, in a campaign deal. She got $800,000. She made her money.
Yep. Well, my point is don't blame the president for something that has been failing for a long time. I mean, I taught in public school, and I do believe in public schools. There are good things in public school, believe me. But don't lay the blame on him.
Well, it's all politics. Here's LeBron going after Donald Trump, and he never went after Obama, and they had the same misery in those in the inner cities, in the schools. And as a matter of fact, Chicago has gotten worse the last 10 years, not better. Worse. And yet, we over there saying Trump this, Trump that, this president. I mean, makes no sense at all.
Not a bit. It makes no sense at all that the whole blame of the education system, the whole United States, is falling on Donald Trump. I don't think so. Well, we had a president 8 years before that,
Yeah, but that's not what they do. Unbelievable. Anyway, I got to go, Miss Pat. Thanks for the call, because we got to take a last break. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Christian Heartland opens window into fight for China's soul. And China's wiping out Christian churches, Brandon. I don't know if you saw this. It's talking about break your heart. Breaks your heart. Anyway, we got to take a break. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Rosie O'Donnell leads anti-Trump sing-along at White House. Oh, my God.
I saw some video pop up of that on my...
It stays a soap opera. Okay? By the way, there's an interview with Caitlyn Jenner, if you want to read that. I don't think I'm going to pass. All right, 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Larry in Church Point. How you doing, Larry?
I'm doing all right, Moon.
Good to hear from you.
I've been listening, enjoyable topic. I want to comment a little bit about incarceration and a little bit about Donald Trump.
Yes, sir.
I'm basically an independent, but I support Donald Trump. I'm giving him the opportunity to prove himself, and I like what he's doing on immigration and different areas of the economy.
Sure.
Okay, so as an independent, my observation may be a little bit different. With the gentleman who called earlier about plea bargains, he was talking about individuals that can get 10 charges down to 1, and it's like, it happens to a degree maybe, but not as much as I would think that he indicated. Problem is if a person has money, can afford a good attorney, he will get a much better deal.
I won't argue with that.
Legal.
I won't argue with that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great point. By the way, if I ever have to go to get an attorney, I hope you're going to lend me some money. You're right. Having money don't hurt nothing.
Oh, well, it gets you better representation. And this brings me to the next point about plea bargains. Problem is, in the country, we get all these people who go to court, who are indigent, cannot afford an attorney, and they get a public defender.
Mm-hmm.
Then it becomes a revolving door, and our prisons get filled up. And I don't think, my view, is that we're doing a very good job of directing these kids into rehab or alternate institutions. 50% of the the arrests or incarcerations are drug related.
Yeah, yeah.
From what I understand.
But let me ask you a quick question. Let me ask you a quick question on that too, because everybody agrees that if you got caught a couple of times for marijuana, maybe not to in prison. But when you say drug charges, if you're looking for people that are selling and pushing, I put them in a different category than somebody that was using. Absolutely. Am I wrong by saying that?
Absolutely.
Okay, I was just asking.
Well, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, and in my opinion, I'm like you. You're not wrong about pushers, people dealing with drugs, but users, they're the true. I hate to use the word victim.
But let me just say this, because I don't have a lot of time. Users,
sure.
They got some people that use. I'm not even putting a percentage on it. That really want to get off drugs, and they do everything they can. Some don't make it, some make it, thank God. There's a percentage that could care less if they ever get off of it. And so you're not going to reach 100% of the people. It's not a perfect world. I really believe for the most part to beat drugs and abuses like that, you got to have some spiritual help. You got to have spiritual help to get off of that stuff. It's got to be, it's got to be a desire, and I think it comes from inwardly and spiritually speaking. You got to have some mega help, somebody that's really hooked on those drugs.
Well, Moon, I'm an older gentleman. I'm older than you are, and I've seen a lot of families affected by the drug issues. And spiritual backgrounds or not, they suffer the same pains and the same problems with their loved ones.
I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying to get off of it is a lot more than just say I'm going to get off of it. It takes a lot to get off of it. I'm talking about people that are really hooked.
Yeah, well, I know plenty that are really hooked, and the issue is if there are no programs available to them.
A lot of money. Yeah, a lot of money.
A lot of money, and if they don't have insurance, they're stuck.
Yeah, a lot of the people that are stuck in the prison system, I agree. I think you make a good point. The system's only has so much it can do financially and manpower to get them better, and that's why you don't see a big percentage of them coming out and staying free. It's just tough. That's a tough thing.
Yeah, well, when I was younger, they had rehab programs. I'm talking about back in the late 50s, 60s.
Yes, sir.
And now, they had a shift. 3 strikes, throw them in, blah, blah.
Well, let me ask you a quick question, though. Back in your day, though, because I wasn't born to 61, back in the day, I would think most of the stuff you dealt with was alcohol. Today, you're dealing with alcohol, but you're dealing with drugs that they never even invented to now, which have probably made it worse. Yeah. I'm just guessing on that.
Oh, absolutely. They had sporadic drug use, but nothing like what it's become.
Oh, right
and
now.
That's because of the business of drugs.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
It's the money. And well, I'm probably holding you up. You
make good points. I understand where you're going with all that. It is a tough situation. But to rehab somebody, very expensive, very tough. People that come through it and get through it, I think they help physically, mentally, spiritually. It's a combination of all of it that gets them over the top.
Yeah, well, Moon, the cost of incarceration is I think the average is around $3,000 a month. Kids that are not able to pay child support, either guys or gals, end up going into jail one way or another. And they talk about all these alternative programs, but they're not the quality that should be there. And if they had, it's close to $40,000 a year. Why not invest that money in other programs that would work better? Yeah. So I'm going to get off.
All right, Larry. Thanks. Appreciate the call, bro.
Enjoy your program.
Thank you very much. We'll move to another one. We'll go to Port Barry. Fawn, how you doing?
Well, hello. I'm doing well, Moon.
Good to hear from you.
There was a man on yesterday that gave an announcement for the Investigative Discovery Channel programs.
Uh-huh.
And I caught that Sugarland program, but when was that Planned Parenthood program to be on?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't remember that one. I remember the Sugarland, but I didn't remember the other one.
Yeah.
I apologize, but if I didn't catch it. Brandon said he didn't catch that one either.
Okay. Enjoy your program.
Thank you, ma'am. God bless. Appreciate it. By the way, Brandon, you'll love this. In Habersham, Habersham County, Mud Creek Precinct in northeastern Georgia. Habersham.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds right. Okay. Habersham.
Whether it's right or not, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Had 276 registered voters ahead of the state primary election in May. But listen to this. But 670 ballots were cast, according to the Georgia Secretary of State. 243% turnout. The discrepancy included a number of sworn statements and exhibits filed as a part of a federal lawsuit against the state by election security activists. Comes aimed at swelling public concern for the security of Georgia's voting machines. Georgia is one of 4 states that uses voting machines statewide to produce no paper records for voters to verify, making them difficult to audit. And cybersecurity experts have warned that there were security flaws on the state election website leading up to 2016. But Brandon, think about that. 276 registered voters, and they got 670 ballots cast. Now, if I'm working the precinct, how can you do that? The only way that can be in Atlanta's Democrat voting machines provided him a ballot including the 5th Congressional District, you ready? Which for which longtime John Lewis ran unopposed instead of his 6th Congressional District ballots would feature the competitive Democratic race. I mean, if you're really running an honest election, Brandon, you got 276 people, unless you have, I can walk up and register and vote at the same time, which ought to be totally illegal. It is here. That's the one I think Julie Stokes don't want to answer. I wonder why. Secretary of State's race, folks. It's going to heat up here pretty soon. Probably in September, you start seeing people rock and roll with it. They're all raising money right now. And by the way, the press keeps saying Julie Stokes is the front runner. Brandon, where did they get that from?
I think they say it because she's got the highest amount of money raised.
Don't make you the front
runner.
I know. I think they say it because they want people to think she's the front runner. Because the only people saying it are the media. The same ones the John Bell Edwards media. That's the only one saying
Won't disagree there, man.
Yeah. All right, God bless. See you tomorrow. We'll be at Simmons Sporting Goods in Bastrop, Louisiana. Come see us. We'd love to talk to you.